I was almost done with editing today's video, but it required a little bit of preamble. So it's going to start off with about a 4-minute video that I made that was an unlisted video that I put only in a community post that no one saw because I wasn't actually really trying, because I didn't want people to see. I just think I wanted to make an effort and then see if like maybe it'll work out, but I didn't actually want to put in the legwork to make the decision to make it work. So you're going to see about a 4-minute video where I'm asking for help for someone to hold my hand to a music venue. And then I skip ahead to start doing a bunch of choppy little updates about my journey at the music venue. What the video's missing is about a 15-minute kind of diatribe right in the middle where I explain the logical gap, or the logical, like the leap of logic that I made to get to the end of the video where I actually did, spoiler alert, end up having a decent time. So you're going to follow that journey. I just wanted to let you know what's going on. So I included the 4-minute footage that no one saw to demonstrate what like the mentality I had going into the music venue. And then I'm going to be referencing the video I made yesterday, which was like the 2-minute, oh no, I'm nervous about the venue thing. And then a little bit of like what it was like being there. And then at the end, we come to a nice full resolution. This one's a journey. It's a little bit choppy. Oh yeah, and then I mentioned the footage that I cut. And the reason it's missing that is because the audio was just garbage. And if it looks like this, because there's a line between content that's like, you know, raw and honest, and it's just, well, that's just garbage audio. Like, hey, my metric for what makes a garbage video is different, and this is not a garbage segment. This segment is lovely, and because the audio is okay, and it was not okay previously. So yeah, I might explain more about what that 15-minute gap was another time, but I just wanted to let you guys know what this video is going to be, and it's a journey, and let's just go on that journey together. I have never filmed a video in front of this bar before, and that's okay because it's a limiting space. I can only move on one axis, and my space is limited on the other axis. Not that I had to show you what that's like, I suppose I wanted to demonstrate so that you know I'm not lying when I say that I'm here for, maybe not a reason, I just wanted to be in front of this bar for this video. This video is a different one than normal. This video is a call to action. It is my first ever call to action. Not call to action, that's the wrong way to put it. I'm asking for help though, because there is a virtual reality music event taking place this weekend. I guess there's a Twitch streamer, ElectroWuff. ElectroWuff. It's not like that's not an I guess thing, but I guess about the there's an event, I guess it's a birthday thing, but CorbellePlays is someone who puts on a lot of music festivals in VR in their like group or whatever. Like, I don't even know much. All I know is that something about all the things I just barely brought up, and also it's happening this weekend on Friday and Saturday. I want to go to this thing. It starts at noon Pacific time on both of those days, and that's my time. And I want to go, but the past 2 times I've tried going to virtual reality things, I just wasn't able to make it. I couldn't make it work. It's just too much for me to handle. And I know that it would also still be too much for me to handle this weekend because I have enough other things going on that trying to build up that fortitude to figure it out, like, that's not a territory I can broach now, but I would like to. So I am extending, not extend the question, like, because we are a small community here with Phineas Former, but we are mighty. And if there's any community members among us who have virtual reality chat and want to go to a music festival specifically to hold my hand, I would love if someone was able to hold my hand and we went to a music festival. That sounds like it would be a fun experience for me. Actually, no, it would terrify me because still hanging out with virtual people terrifies me, because being myself still terrifies me a little bit, which is what the entire Phineas Former project is about. So interacting with virtual people is still something I'm going to have a really hard time with. And doing a music festival is something that I'm going to have a hard time with. But I kind of like pairing things that are challenging together, which is a little bit beside the point because I want to keep this a short thing. So let me know, reach out if you are a viewer and have interest in holding my hand to a virtual reality event. And I guess there's going to be music because I want to be able to go to festivals like these, but I can't do it right now on my own reliably. And it's the sort of thing I absolutely could figure out on my own. It would just take a lot of energy, and I could handle that. But I need my energies for other things right now, and so that's what's going on this weekend. And let me know if you have interest in holding my hand during some of that. Saturday is the day I could make consistently, or like for sure. Maybe Friday, and I'm probably only going to want to go to one of those days. So let's just probably imagine this Saturday, roughly noon Pacific-ish, but we'll see because it's going until 9, but I've got a thing at 6. So that's like my window of terror because I want to be able to go to these things and enjoy them, and I would love help being able to get to that space faster. So you guys let me know if you want to get in VR chat and hold my hand as we go to a virtual festival this weekend to help me get better at going to virtual festivals and at hanging out with people in VR. So that's what's happening this weekend, and I made a video about that. And let me know if that's something you would be willing to help with, because that's something I could really use help with. So thanks, and let me know. So I only pussied out a little bit. The instance had a few. There was one that had 79 out of 80 people in it, and I was like, sounds like a lot of people. And then there was another instance that it looked like someone else had opened up or something, and there was one person out of 80, and I was like, let's go do that instead. So I don't know where the one person is, or if it's actually a person, or if it was just a West Coast, East Coast thing. So I kind of pussied out, but I'll work up the courage to go after I. So I'm on a quest right now, anyway, to find one person and see who they are. And then I'm also exploring the world a little bit. So far, it's actually super atmospheric and awesome. So that when I do go to the room that has more people, I'm a little bit less of a scared little boy. So we're going to go see if we can find the person. So wish me luck on finding the person. There is a chance, though, that I'm going to be saved by the bell because my computer is crying. I don't know if that comes out in the footage that's happening right now. But it's crying, and it should not be crying. And I don't know if the world is crying or if it's my headset. It seems like it might be my headset, because it's lagging a lot. And if I get saved by the bell and my computer cried too much, I couldn't make a video. It's like my dog ate my homework. So I really hope that my dog ate my homework. I'm gonna keep looking for the person, but that's my update right now. All right, computer still very upset. I thought that might have been the person, even though it looked a little suspect and they were standing really still. But I walked right up to them, and I was not even a little bit afraid. And they were a cardboard cutout. So that was they are not the person. All right. Oh, I guess I was still recording the whole time. So I'm in. I think it might as well be a private instance. So where's the stage at? Hopefully it's okay that I'm recording this. It should be, especially no one is here. But in a VR music festival, apparently, this is what it looks like, except for there'd be lots of furries everywhere, and right now I'm the only furry here. Since I'm in, I might be here on my own, but there's a guy on the stage, and he's about to start doing things, which is cool, and I kind of like being here in the absolute peace and quiet of nobody else, and I'm gonna have to do the full experience soon. So yes, hopefully I'm gonna actually have to try figuring out what's up with the instance and my computer crying. So more troubleshooting, but it's on the way. We're working on it. All right. I'm not being a quitter. I just had to see if it was my computer or if it was the instance, and it turns out it was the instance, not my computer. My computer's fine, so I can't say my dog ate my homework. I just have to go because I think everyone's instance is probably lagging. So I'm gonna go, and then it has a lot of settings to reduce the amount of settings in the world. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'm gonna actually join an instance that has more than one person in it because I couldn't find one person in it. One person, because I couldn't find the one person, and I didn't look very hard. And I'm not gonna have to look very hard in the instance that actually has people in it. So I'm gonna go. Okay. 80 people. That's one heck of a virtual party. So I'm in queue because I decided that one world wasn't, like, the world was full, and either I could make my own world and be the only person in it, and that sounds great, but also I want the full experience. I didn't even know that VR chat worlds had queues, but apparently what happens is when it reaches the world limit, and right now there's 80 people out of 80 people available, so you have to wait until someone leaves, and it just auto-joined me into the queue. So now all I have to do is hang out and wait until I go into the queue, and my thinking is that maybe it means I have to treat it a little bit more seriously, because people actually want to be there enough so that they're waiting in line. And so if I go there, but then I'm just like hiding, then I'm taking someone else's place in line. So I have to go, but then actually do the thing. So yeah, I made this update while I'm waiting, and I really hope that you enjoyed this small micro update. I'm just gonna kill in time right now. Two. I'm in line number 2. This is not helping. Let's face it. If we know Phineas Former, he's probably going to show up and... Actually, no, don't naysay yourself that way, Finn. Just do your thing. So I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to say successful things to myself and not things that say, well, he's probably not going to last very long. It's like, whatever. I'm going to last for that much, but then also like a minute. So we'll see. We'll see. So lasted longer than ever before. I walked up the path. And I was like, oh, there's no one even here. That's so great. And it's like, oh, wait, it's because there's a performer right now. So everyone's probably at the stage. So then I walked up the path, and there's some people. And I walked like right past, and there were 2 people talking. And then I walked over like a little bit and pretended I had somewhere to be. I was like, oh, well, what's going on over here? And then I walked away. But then as I was like walking around the 2 people, then I saw 2 more people coming up the same path I was just at. And then I hid behind a pillar and came back home. So that I don't want that to be the end of it, and I want that to be the end of it desperately, but in my infinite wisdom, in my infinite fucking wisdom, I made a video that I posted that was like 2 minutes long that was like, hey, I think this will help me, and so now I have to actually, like, what happened in that, like, what I was talking about is what this was. I made that for this. So I actually really, I'm like, whew, I'm going to take a second here, and we're going to go back to it. I just got to think about my life choices. Oh, I hate this. Whew. I want to clarify my language. Hate's a very strong emotion. I think this will be good for me, but I hate it. Okay. So the key, I think, was remembering that I really enjoy the real world festivities. And bringing that energy here helped a tremendous amount, because once I realized in an actual, honest-to-God music venue, I wouldn't behave the way that I thought I would in my head. Like, I see now virtually what, like, my imagines of what, like, could happen or whatever in my head, going to a just fantastic place. But that is a fantastic place. I used to have a mentality towards a long time ago, where if you go to a concert, and then you lock eyes with someone across the room, and then you meet, and then it's this great big electric affair. And I used to have an eye towards those experiences really frequently, which meant going to every party was really high stakes endeavor. And are you saying enough things, or are you being engaging enough, or are you maybe too involved in any one of the conversations or something? Camera, come down a little bit. I'm sure it was fine, but I wanted to adjust it. So those are all foibles that I used to have when partying, and I no longer really have that attachment to going to a party or a social event. But for a little bit, I just brought a weird energy to it, I guess. Because I really wanted to, like, make sure I did it the right way. After I just sat for a second and brought my, like, 32 years of experience being a human, but however much of that I've been going to events, you know? But everything that I've learned in the real world, and yeah, it's a little bit different here, but it doesn't have to be, because parts of it are the same. And for instance, I follow me everywhere that I go, so it doesn't matter if I go to a virtual concert or a real one, I'm still here, so I can still do and be how I would be ordinarily. It doesn't matter, because this is what I would be doing anyway. And it's not any more weird like, so I'm on like a side stage as I explored this world. Here, a beer. But I explored this world plenty on like a low person instance, but then like a big full person instance. And I walked around and I, just sat at the alcoves and just had that strict mentality. How would I be operating in an actual music venue? And to a point, I'm not even kidding. The thing that was detracting from the experience most, after I found a nice little perch for myself, so I could like kind of people watch, was the style of music just wasn't really for me. And so then I turned off the world sound and then just kept hanging out, but looking among the people and allowing myself to enjoy the moment as I would in a real world physical moment music venue. Find a good place to people watch and watch me some people. And then I had a little beer for myself, and it was after I allowed myself to remember what it's like to go to events. I don't even know how I forgot that going to events is part of it, whether it's a virtual event or not. It's just an event. It's like, well, I've gone to tons of events. And so then I just do that instead. Like, what was I so worried about? And the things I was worried about were all the things that I wouldn't have done at events anyway. So there's definitely something to uncover about the attitude I was bringing into into both tonight and this exact venue, but then also my interaction socially in virtual reality. I think probably it's got to have a lot more to do with the relationship that I have with myself. I know how to be social. I don't always want to be social. I know how to go to events. Is I like finding places on the outside. The music was a little bit much for me, and there was a lot of people down in the center. So I found a side stage where no one really is. I pulled out my little virtual camera, cracked open a beer, and I'm just sitting and filming a video, which is working on a project, which is what I would have done for a little safe space in a real world party too. Is like, I'm going to take a second, I'm just going to go do something different for a little bit. And so that's why and how this exact little segment is now. Is I came to a party, it wasn't a big deal, and that's the end of the story. But it was a huge deal moments ago. I don't know, man. But the interesting thing, ah, wow, oh goodness, that was not very ladylike at all. The interesting thing is, after I had gotten my dinner made up for myself and I had my beer set aside, it nestled into this mentality of we're enjoying the social circumstance as an enjoyer of those circumstances, not as Phineas Former, like there was so much stuff I added. But once I just started being at the venue, it got to be pretty easy to exist there as long as I just allowed myself to exist how I ordinarily would have existed. Which I know I said earlier, but I wanted to say it again, and I guess maybe it's because I've been drinking a little bit. And on one hand, you want to edit that out to make a really clean video, but on the other hand, if you edit out the humanity from a video because you want it to be really clean, well then guess what? You just edited out the humanity. How could you? Anyway, so interesting thing though is I was ready to call it earlier after I had like reached success. Because the moment I had conquered this demon, like this was a very hard thing for me to handle. And once I remembered, like, oh yeah, just approach this differently, like I've been talking about on and off. But after I flipped that switch, not a big deal. And it felt almost immediately like, okay, well, I don't need to be here anymore. I proved to myself that I can. And then you can just leave. And it's like, well, I mean, I don't have to. I neither have to leave nor do I have to stay. I just chose to stay and hang out in the ambiance of furries, which I think is what the whole thing was even about. But when you reach the point where you don't want to go up and talk to the strange people anymore, because that's how I would operate in my life in an actual venue and allowing myself to operate as myself. But I'd gone through all the trouble of making sure that, like, hey, I'm going to be a little nervous in VR chat, so make sure I have my dinner all set up and have snacks. And I was just like treating myself really kind of gentle, I want to say, because I knew that this was going to be a lot for me to handle. So I was just came in very much, in which case, let's just have a nice, fun time. but I was having more of a fun time getting ready for VR than I was inside of VR. And that's weird to me. I have like ideas and thoughts about it. It's got to cook a little bit more, as I think I know the mechanism which took place. But regardless, it turned out to be a pretty great time. Not at all what I thought it would be, but I don't think I actually had like expectations. I think it was just a big problem I couldn't overcome, and the solution was to call back on life's experiences, I guess, and how going to events is not a big deal if you can carry in, oh, I'm scared virtually, so I'm gonna come at this from a non-virtual standpoint. And then it was just a normal event like anything else, and it was fun, you know. And I don't think what I would have wanted out of meeting people here would have measured up to how much I want to meet people here. Like there's something else that's a different system, not the same system. So like I guess what I'm trying to say is the fact that I thought this was such a big deal, and in fact now it is not a big deal, makes me wonder what the big deal actually is. You know? So I'll be working on it. But yeah, that's what the update is. Honestly, I've had enough of the venue. I've seen what I needed to see. So I'm gonna probably just take off the headset and watch Supernatural and have another beer, make some popcorn or something, because I'm done hanging out with the furries. And I didn't hang out with any furries, but I also don't feel like I need to. I am fully satisfied at the end of this social engagement because I allowed myself to experience it the way that is natural to me, I guess, which is interesting. And it was free, so it's like, what's the big deal? Put on the funny hat, go, um, hang out with the other furries, nearby the other furries, or whatever. Cool experience. Yeah, I don't know what. I wish I could give you something more. I feel like there was a whole lot of build up, and it's gonna be really interesting when I watch this. You know where it started and then where that very night ended. Because I don't even know what. There's something there. All right, that is going to be it though. I'm going to head out. Enjoy.